Friends, another Sephora spring savings event has arrived. This one's for 2025, and if it's your first time encountering such a sale, well, Sephora usually runs these sales twice a year, and it's a tier system. Depending on how much money you spend will determine what level of discount you'll be eligible for. And the spring savings event starts on the 4th. That is this Friday. If you are Rouge, you're able to save 20% off. If you're VIB, the sale starts for you on the 8th, 15%, and a whopping 10% for insiders. I mean, that's the tax, so every little bit helps, depending on your situation, shipping and whatnot. And also, if you're not Rouge because you don't spend that much at Sephora, you might be better off buying from the actual brand sites when they have their own sale events going on, not just 20%, but upwards of 30, maybe 40. And some people tend to go that route. I totally understand. But then those individual brand retailers may not ship to where you are. So there are a lot of things to consider. I would say, though, if you are Rouge or even VIB, getting the 15% off, at least off luxury beauty, helps. Nordstrom ran a recent beauty sale event, discounting 15% off all the luxury beauty favorites, which I fell victim to. I bought a few things, but I wanted to share my recent purchases, not everything in my collection. You could check out previous Sephora sale videos that I've done, and I'll make sure to create a specific playlist for this sale video so you can see all of my recommendations in action, swatches, demos, and all the like. Let's start with, I have a list and I decided to go alphabetical order for my own sake because I'll forget things. The ABH Lip Velvet in Cool Brown, and surprisingly, I actually was gifted this by Beautylish for their gift card event, I think last year, but ABH is also sold on Sephora, and I think one of their best products. Yes, while I understand I don't buy a ton of Anastasia Beverly Hills, but I have to give it up to their lip velvet formula, specifically in Cool Brown. One of my most favorite lip shades out of my entire collection. Is velvet finish, is smooth, it's creamy, not drying on the lips, a far departure from the original ABH liquid lip formula. My gosh, felt like cement on your lips. This is a lot creamier, moussier, but the pigmentation delivery is there, and the color is unparalleled. It's the perfect muted brown, 90s cool girl brown smoky lip. That's all you need. You know what? I'm gonna slap this on right now. I have the Isamaya sculpting stick in maple on with the Gucci Glow and Care lip in Linnet stone, but I can't help but want to throw on the Cool Brown. And you don't need a lip liner because the doe foot applicator itself has a little bit of a point, so it makes maneuvering quite easy. You see what I'm saying? It matches my top. I can't get enough of this shade, so I had to throw it in the recommendations list. And this leads us into Charlotte Tilbury, darling. You gotta get these. These were a little controversial upon their release because how they look like a drugstore palette. I got over that real fast. I first bought Super Neutral and was gifted Emerald Effect by Beautylish again for their gift card event, and was stunned by these palettes' performance despite the appearance. I don't care. The shadows in here are excellent. They deliver everything from the matte formula, I think, to this what is referred to as the crystal chrome diamond dimension. I was floored when I first saw this shadow. When I swatched it in store, I couldn't believe the shine. And with Emerald Effect, are you kidding me? I had my eye on Sensual Sunset. I actually might pick that up during the sale because out of the 6 or 5 colorways, that one called my name because I swatched one of the glittery ittery shades. Well, it's not glitter. I guess the Diamond Dimension formula, and it was outrageous. Like, so beautiful, it shocked me. These shades are Emerald Effect, a little bit of everything here, because you could go more neutral or you could go more antique bronzy, gold, however you want to classify it. And I love that Emerald Effect in particular is more dazzly shades versus mattes, whereas in super neutral, you only have the 3 of the Dazzly shades, and I can't do math, 6 matte. So the super neutral is fantastic just for that daily smoky moment or something a little low key. But what I enjoy about these palettes is just the effortless nature, where the formula across the board is consistent and did not give me any trouble. And I thought fairly easy to use, to apply, to blend, and provided a variety of looks, especially Emerald Effect. Despite the mint and emerald shades in this palette, you basically can stay within the bronze realm and create a beautifully smoky look that doesn't take much at all. I mean, use your finger to get this guy on, this creamy metallic, kind of buff the edges, and you're done. Yeah, done. So I definitely will probably get Sensual Sunset, and that will be it for me for the Charlotte Tilbury Beautifying Trends palette. Although the other ones are beautiful, like Denim Blue, I know people love the Denim Blue, but I'll probably stop at Sunset, and am thrilled with Super Neutral and Emerald Effect, 100%. Danessa Myricks, her blurring Balm Flush products, as well as her Serum Skin Tint and her concealer. Now, the reason why I don't have those items with me here is because I think the color range for Danessa in the Serum Skin Tint formula is not the best range for me. I have 9, a little too golden, but I do enjoy the texture. It gives a nice coverage for a tint. It leaves behind a natural finish, very easy going on the application, and overall feel off the skin. Concealer too, I have in 9, a little too yellow. I did award it best of concealer for 2024, but that was before I tried the Gucci concealer, and when we get to the G's, I'll speak about the Gucci concealer then. The Blurring Balm Flush, I think one of Danessa's best-selling products and best performing products, specifically Creme Brulee, Grape Soda. If you would like to see these two in action, I do have it on my Beautylish video, which you can check out by clicking that specific timestamp. I'll have it labeled in the description box. Creme Brulee is a toasted almond on my complexion. I originally thought latte was what I was asking for, and I still have that shade on my radar, so probably will still get it during the sale. Grape Soda is surprisingly shows up as like a warm orchid when blended on the skin, right? If you were apprehensive about this shade, assuming it might look bruised on your skin, possibly if you combine it with like a bronzer, or for instance something like Creme Brulee, I would be careful with the mixing and just dedicate the blush moment to Grape Soda, right? Maybe apply it higher. If you apply it lower, depending on your face size and whatnot, will determine how the color will look. But in action, I loved how it looked on me, and I'm like a neutral undertone, so Grape Soda is a lot of fun. I think it pairs well with Natasha Denona's Roxa. If you wanted to go full throttle, lilac orchid, monochromatic, you gotta get Grape Soda. And Creme Brulee is like a bronzer moment for me. Again, toasted almond, I can apply it, almost dropped it, in through the hollows and take it around the cheeks. If you want it more of like a coral red type of a hue, you could apply Jubilee. It's another shade I have. Bellini, which is more of a peachy hue, great for spring. Those colors I think will be better paired with a shade like Creme Brulee. Grape Soda you're gonna have to be careful with. I think this is like one and done. Creme Brulee is the bronzer shade that could be paired with the warmer blush shades from that part of the color spectrum. Oh, Dior. Dior has quickly become one of my most favorite luxury beauty brands, and simply because of the freaking compact. Now, I just want to make a disclaimer. Okay, I said, I forgot in one of my videos that I was not going to get the jumbo bronzer. I know this is a Sephora video, but I had Ulta money to spend, and I decided to spend it on the jumbo bronzer compact because I wasn't going to buy this with my own money, okay? However, I still wanted to share because the big bronzer is available on Sephora and not the smaller bronzer. I thought that was strange. I have shade 40, the deep matte. It's the deepest shade out of the bunch, and I applied it with a soft brush today so I could get a little bit of that color, right? Apparently, if I applied it heavier, you could see just a stronger serving of color, which is indication that if you're deeper than me, then 40 might not do much for you. You could actually check out Sunsuray's a demo on her Instagram where she applies, I think, 40. and she has to build it up a lot, right? Which is not great if you are her shade twin. If you're me and you were looking at the jumbo bronzer, because I have 04 in the small and 30 from the jumbo lineup looked like 40. So I didn't want a similar shade in this size, you know what I mean? I went with the darker color for the larger compact size just to get a little variety in the mix, you know what I'm saying? But this is like a toasty type of a serving of bronze for me. I really like the color. It has more of a red tone in there, different from my Hermes, which is more like warm orange leaning, and even YSL, when we get to the Ys, I have in, I believe, 04, yes, sandalwood. So you see there's a little more red from the Dior. The YSL surprisingly looks more like a brown undertone. And I love them all. With the highlighter, Sephora actually doesn't offer all highlighter shades from this newer release with the silver soft packaging here in shade 01 Nude Halo. Beautifully shiny. Dior is one of my most favorite brands for highlighters, hands down, still to this day. And the other shades I think are like the pink, opal, the blue one, maybe the diamond effect. Dior Beauty has all the shades, and if unfortunately Sephora is not covering the one that you have your eye on, you might have to get it from Dior Beauty. But I think Nude Halo is a safe choice, right? But the application is flawless, smooth. It appears just glow from within on the cheekbones. It's so finely milled and has that immediate wet skin effect when applied on the cheekbones. I have the Gucci on, but listen, if it was up to me, I would have like 10 faces on the screen at the same time showing all these different products that I bought. The Forever Glow, oh, stunning, stunning. And I recommended this in my previous Sephora sale video. I have this in 3. Great to mix with your foundation just to give it a little more fluidity. Fantastic solo as highlighter. And the Forever Glow, I wish Sephora carried the new shades. I've been eyeing Copper and Flame for the last few weeks. I didn't bite the bullet yet. Ooh, but those are still heavy on the radar. Those shades for the summertime would just look outrageous. What's holding me back is that I already have 3 of these glow maximizers. This shade here is in Rosy and versatile in terms of where I could place it. Low, a little higher, maybe not directly on the cheekbones. I would apply the star filter directly on the cheekbones for a more deliberate highlight effect. Rosy is more like a blush light effect. The foundation, I like it. I do. I don't think it deserved all the hype that it did. And the reason I say that is maybe because of my shade match 3.5N. If I were to recommend a luxury foundation, it would either be the Prada, the Givenchy, I was gonna say Burberry, but Sephora doesn't carry Burberry yet. And even the Gucci, but unfortunately the Gucci shade lineup is atrocious for my complexion. Like, it's either 305 or 310, and I'm not gonna buy 2 Gucci bottles of foundation. The convenience of the stick, I understand the appeal behind it, especially if you travel a lot, right? This is a lot more travel friendly than a glass bottle or a plastic bottle with the liquid, regulations and everything when traveling through security. So this is a safer bet when going out and about. And sure, best for touch-ups and whatnot. I usually wouldn't touch up with foundation. I would touch up with the powder. But I understand, again, the convenience of a stick. I just wish the shade match was better. It's very soft matte, so you have to make sure your skin is prepped. I'm on the drier side. If I don't put moisturizer on my face, this foundation stick could be a problem. So that's why I'm not recommending it. I'm just mentioning it because if you were wondering what I think about it still after, like 2 months when I first purchased it, especially after using Prada Skin Reveal, the Givenchy Prisme, the Dior fell short for me compared to those foundations. Speaking of Givenchy, I purchased this from the Nordstrom sale, and I used a sample of the new Prisme Libre Glow Serum Foundation 4.5N. Has to be the best skin match I have ever applied. It is outrageously good in terms of the skin match, in terms of the texture. Like, no, I have never applied a foundation like this. Glow Serum, again, indicates that skincare and makeup hybrid product. You might be apprehensive about that cocktail because if you're normal to oily combination, it might leave you a little too dewy ooey, but surprisingly, despite how they reformulated this, because Carlos over at the Givenchy counter Nordstrom had explained that the newer iteration of this foundation contains more skincare. I don't know to what degree, but I could attest to the fact that the dry down is like a natural, almost soft matte finish, and it is outrageously good. Like I had described in my Givenchy video, it's like a creamy velvet feel on the skin, unlike anything I've ever tried or applied from the foundation category. And again, 4.5N is like my face. It is dead on. I actually applied it with the Prada foundation today. I cocktailed them both, but I can't recommend this foundation enough. It is good. It is fragrant because it is luxury beauty. Not all luxury beauty has fragrance like Dolce & Gabbana. I was surprised to learn. This, however, I can withstand and tolerate because I love the foundation so much. I just take it. Not a great idea if you're ultra sensitive, right? So if you cannot have fragrance in your makeup because it is irritating, it will agitate any skin conditions that you're dealing with, then don't get this foundation. But if you can withstand it, get the foundation. And the loose powder. Yes, I did buy another one. I had to get my hands on number 4 Organza Cien, and my apologies, I don't have this guy on my original Givenchy video. I have number 6, which is the brick red. But look at Organza Cien. These are my colors. It's like a brown pink. It's so pretty. Look at the gradient that naturally occurs. Oh my God. And then of course with number 6, oh, just your effortless summer red color. That sunburnt look. It is so good. I know, terrible swatch. I'm running out of arm room. Look at that. It's so pretty. I could just apply these on my face without anything, without any foundation, without a tint. And the way these powders combine because of the different tones in one jar, it has so much dimension. I can't explain. And the texture is so smooth. It just melts into the skin. Oh, you know what? I don't want to waste this powder. This is number 4, okay? And then this is number 5. So you see number 5 is going to have a little more of that red in there, which I think is just beautiful for summer. And then number 4 is a lot more chill, right? Kind of reminds me of the latte shade from Danessa. That was the impression I got when I saw the color for the first time online. But ooh, and many of you have said, Alicia, I got all of them. And I'm like, I'm nearly there. I might not get each and every loose blush. The next one on my radar is either the coral one or the rose one or the plum one. Those are the 3. The ultra light lilac shade is probably not gonna be a good idea for me, but I can't stay away. Oh my gosh, the blushes have been killing me. We have arrived at the Gucci concealer I have on today. One of the best concealers I've ever tried. 38N medium. It is an extraordinary formula, creamy, and the color too is perfect. It's not too brightening, but not too my skin tone where there's no distinction between under eyes and the rest of my face. And I just love the component. I can't get over the packaging for Gucci. Also, the Glowing Care lip products in Linnet Stone and Peggy Taupe. It does have a perfume smell on the lip, so be prepared for that, but I forgive it because Linnet Stone is one of the most effortless, like, soft beiges I've ever worn, and Peggy Taupe has like that grungy, smoky touch to it, much like, it's like a lighter version, shinier version of Cool Brown. You know what I'm saying? And then their blushes. One of the best performing luxury blushes on the market. This is in soft red. I have warm berry and I think like a coral one as well. The powders are finely milled, easy to blend on the skin, and again, this freaking compact. Are you kidding me? The highlighter. This is more of like you see the imprints there in the pan, but the shine is insane. Insane. This actually might be shinier than Dior because the Dior is a little drier. Gucci's a little creamier, but because of that, you will have to use with a stiffer brush or pick up with a stiffer brush. This formula won't be great with a soft brush because you see that there's barely, virtually no kickback whatsoever. Whereas with the Dior formula, a little more versatile with a wider variety of brush types and choices, this you will have to pick, in my opinion, choose a stiffer brush bristle to get the pigment out of the pan and on your cheekbones. Hourglass, without a doubt, the Unreal Liquid Blush. These are in Vision and Moment. Vision is a warm rose. Moment is a coral. You can't go wrong with this formula. You just drop it on, tap, 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 and you're done. And it just has a beautiful watercolor effect on the skin. Virtually effortless in the application and does not leave behind a splotchy finish that looks uneven and just weird. It just kind of floats on the skin like watercolor, but it appears even with appropriate color richness that you can build up. So if you want it more of like a light wash of color, then you'll just do like one dot because that's really all it takes. If you want a little more color, you'll add a little more. And each time you blend, it's just perfect. Not a new product for this year, I think released last year, the Vanish pressed powder. Fantastic for under eyes. I have this in the shade medium. I also like it to just add a little more softening of a soft matte effect on the center of my face, more of a blurring effect, if you will. I like to use a brush, but you certainly can use the little, what is this called? Not pad, sponge, to touch up throughout the day, to touch up on the go. And of course, the unlocked, specifically the unlocked matte, I think. Sparrow, by far, one of my most favorite and beloved lip shades out of my entire collection. It's like a brown rose. You know how I feel about those shades. Smooth, pigmented, kind of like the lip velvet but in lipstick form, and not as tight as Lisa Eldridge's lip velvet formula. That is like an intense velvet. This is more of like a soft focus velvet, kind of like the Freck Beauty too, but this is creamier in my opinion than the Freck Beauty. Oh, we've arrived. Isamaya is here. I have a whole video dedicated going over this brand and its release. I don't have all the products, but after using them for quite some time, because I think this dropped like end of February sometime, I wouldn't get the color correcting serum. I think the Dior product is a superior one. It doesn't have as much pearl and it just feels smoother on the application. And also the colorways, there wasn't like a shade for the medium part of the spectrum without warming me up, because I felt like that caramel shade was so warm that I thought it would distort the undertone of my foundation. So that's why I didn't get it. I wanted to try the lilac in seeing if it would provide any brightening effects because of this color, but I didn't think it added anything special, not special enough for me to feel inclined to use it over and over again. The 5-point lift, I mistakenly called it concealer and confirmed that by seeing a post dedicated explaining why the 5-point lift is not a concealer on Isamaya Beauty's page. I was like, okay, I'm sorry. I have this in medium fair, and this product is like a tint in a tube, I guess. It's multi-purpose. You could wear it under the eyes, around the nose, anywhere that needs a lift, anywhere that needs brightening, evening of tone, right? So that's the point of this product. I like combining it with my concealers, even with some tints, right? Because it's fluid in its consistency, and I think it adds nice texture to a lot of my complexion products. So that's why I've been hanging on to it. I just don't like the construction because when I bring this with me on the go, the cap always comes off, but this is not too hard. Sometimes it locks, but you just gotta get a good grip on it. If it's too slippery, your hands is a pain. The sculpting stick in Maple, I actually had that on before I applied the lip velvet. It's a nice product. I don't use it often because I tend to gravitate towards powder bronzers more often. And with Isamaya products, especially because, let me bring this in now, the skin enhancing duo I have in Nectarine, which lightweight, a glassy skin finish, not a lot of pigment, more like barely there color. The entire line, and this was, I think, demonstrated by many of the tutorials you can find on Isamaya Beauty's IG page, is just like that finger tap, like minimalist, bare minimum effort makeup line. And I think that's what Isamaya wanted to deliver. And if you're not into that, then you're not going to like these products. And that's something I explained in my original review video. I don't tend to apply makeup in that way. I respect, however, the makeup's formulation in guiding the user for a more effortless experience, right? You don't have to use a brush if you're not comfortable using brushes or even a sponge. These products are very finger application friendly. And if you just like barely there makeup enough to offer that contouring and sculpting effect, enough color for your cheeks for barely there, nice highlight with the highlighter on the duo side, like I get it. But there are some products that the Liberica lip liner by far has to be one of my most favorite lip liner colors all of life. It's a medium taupe, but is absolutely perfect for my cooler tone lip products that I have an entire video just pairing this lipstick, or lip liner rather, with my favorite lipsticks in that taupe beige realm. It's like my grunge liner for my favorite nude shades, and I'm looking at a few other colors for the lip liner. And the Metal Balm I haven't been wearing. I have this in 1 penny because 1 penny does a lot on its own, and sometimes what I have on the eyes might not pair well, but like what I got going on now is probably okay. You know what I'm saying? So depending on what I have on the rest of my face, and I gotta say, for a product that's marketed as a lip balm, like that's not bad. The color delivery is there, and if you want like that metallic finish on your lip, I have Shaded Rose on my radar. I might end up just getting that. Kulfi, you gotta get the lip oil stain. I'm telling you, man, like this product, one of my most favorite lip products I've ever tried. It has like this, well, it does, this liquidy application, and then it feels so silky at the same time, shiny initially, and then it dries down more like kind of like a semi shiny satin, and then you just have the color left behind because it is essentially still a stain. I love it because it's so easygoing for days where I want a lip but don't want to apply anything else on the face. I have this in the rose, tamarind, and caramel shades. It's a caramel beige, I can't recall. Yes, caramel, tamarind, and rose. These 3 right here, they could do it all. No matter what eyeshadow I have on, or if I don't have anything on at all, it doesn't matter. I could just throw on one of these and it is good to go. And also the Zari Eyes Shadow Pot, stop it right now, in Sitara Sparkles and Bronze Brocade. Listen, Bronze Brocade, well actually Sitara Sparkles is one of my favorites. This is one of the most easy-going eyeshadow products you will ever use in your life. One and done. All right, if you don't like eyeshadow that much, you're like, I don't like the shadows, I don't like the shadow brushes either, you use this, pick this up with your fingers, tap around your lid, and you're done. And look at the effect. Look at how shiny, sparkly that is. Okay, and Bronze Brocade, without a doubt, like, stop, I ran out of room. Here we go. Look at that. stop it right now. Kulfi has other products that I might have my eye on, but from what I've used, the lip oil stain and the Zari eye pods, you gotta look into it. I won't say you gotta get it. Just look into it. Merit Beauty. Merit Beauty's Flush Balm. I have this in Fox. Listen, if I wanted to pick that everyday shade in a cream formula, this is it. It has a softer effect on the skin versus like the Natasha Denona's blush duo, Danessa's Blurring Balm Flush that has a lot more pigment to it. I'm thinking YSL's liquid blush and even Hourglass's liquid blush. This is a lot softer. It has a watercolor effect, but it's buildable, right? So don't fear, you know, you're like, where's the color? Look at that. It has like definitely like a balmy effect on the skin, but it's not sticky on the application. And I think fairly easy to apply. It's one of the more effortless formulas, I think, on the market, and the color range is incredible. Speaking of Natasha Denona's Cream Cheek Duo, if it wasn't because of the limited shade range, you know, I wish there was more than just the pinks, but look at that color delivery. It's outrageous. And of course, easy on the application. Again, I have a dedicated video demonstrating this product. The highlighter side is not so much highlighter, is more to add dimension to the blush, where if you want more of like a highlight effect, you can combine it with the cream blush side, or you can combine it solo on the cheekbones if you like. This is in Fresh Mauve, and definitely summer feel when I apply it on the cheeks. And recently we got Bloom. I have a dedicated video again showing the swatches and looks. I like Bloom for sure, but you know what? I've been using my luxury beauty quads a lot more often. I don't know what it is, maybe because I was traveling a lot in March. Like, there's no way I'm bringing this with me. But one could argue that I could have brought Natasha's originally sized quints or any of her minis, right? So I had choices when it comes to sizes. But even if I didn't have my luxury beauty quads, I still wouldn't bring Bloom along. I would either bring like Mini Biba, Mini Bronze, any of those palettes, because there's just a lot of shadow to deal with at once. And it just, sometimes I don't have the bandwidth. You know what I'm saying? Bloom is pretty though. It is. I would say, unless you really like these shades, and if you happen to be near an actual Sephora store and you swatch and you're like, oh my gosh, then I don't know what to tell you. I think Roxa is more interesting in terms of color delivery. Is a little more diverse, although you would consider these two palettes to be monochromatic in nature. I think you have a little bit more of a spectrum here, because you see you got the heavier leaning lilacs and violets, but then you got a little bit of like the burgundy wine going on the other side, and then you got this fun swirly twirly duochrome shade. So I actually would reach for Roxa more than I would Bloom, just because I think Roxa is a little more fun. At this point, I'm still editing my Petalmorphosis videos. I filmed 2 more, talking about the rumors surrounding the no longer Italian bake shade, and also a video demonstrating 6 looks using Petalmorphosis. Listen, take advantage now, because I think the brand is reformulating those bake shades in all the palettes. So if I were to make a recommendation, I would either get Subversive, Bronze Seduction, Midnight Sun, or Divine Rose 2. The only reason why I'm suggesting Divine Rose 2, because I truly think Mothership 8 has the most consistent formula across the mattes all the way through the actual bake shades. They're just smooth in performance straight through. Midnight Sun, simply because it's my favorite color story out of Pat's palettes. Subversive, I think, is just iconic Pat McGrath. Like, when it dropped back in 2017, that was, for me, one of the most iconic palettes I've ever seen, and one of the most iconic palettes Pat has ever released. And Bronze Seduction was a moment. I don't use it often, but listen, if you want ultra glam, like holiday glam S tier, Bronze Seduction. But if you like Moonlit Seduction, people really like that new pressed Italian formula. Unfortunately, Sunlit Seduction, that pressed Italian formula, I'm not entirely sure if that was the same lab. They were drier. they didn't feel, or the ones in Petamorphosis didn't feel as dry as the ones in Sunlit Seduction. Sunlit Seduction perhaps is one of the worst motherships out of all the motherships. Moonlit Seduction I enjoy a lot. I might actually have to redo a 6-look video using Mothership 10, which has my initials on it from the brand when I was on their PR list. So by default, that palette has a special place in my heart. But stay tuned for more inspo using Petamorphosis if you were thinking about buying it during the sale. Patrick Ta, these silly duos. I'm not entirely sure if these still have controversy surrounding them because of the price point. Super expensive for duos, but man, super effortless in terms of the execution. You could just throw this on the lid, tap, 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 and you're done. On top of eyeshadow, solo, and you just get sparkly, arcly lids. I think his most popular product is the Double Take Cream and Powder duos. I have this in She Seductive, which is more of like a mauve rose. Pretty. I like the concept. I like the colors. I don't know. I just don't find myself using these as much. And I fell victim to buying a duo because I wanted to try one of the newer shades. And someone had told me, a few of you had recommended that I get like the terracotta leaning one. I forgot what it's called. Maybe I'll buy it during the sale. I'm a simp because I love those shades. Again, perhaps this is a little too cool tone for me, and if I try the terracotta one, I will like it better. So I'm still thinking about it. And the duos, I still have my eye on the bronze one. I just didn't buy it yet because it was sold out during the last Sephora sale. This is in Do You Know Who I Am? I think it's fun in terms of me just using the shadow solo for some twinkly inkly. You know, in fact, I could just pop it right here on the center and it gives fantastic shine with the finger tap. I mean, come on, stop it right now. Prada Beauty, we have arrived. I don't know if the Prada liners will be available by the time this sale begins. But if they are, you gotta get Ember, you gotta get Wood, you gotta get Glycine, and you have to get Mahogany. I have demonstrations. Maybe I'll just pop them in here because I'm saving that B-roll footage for a dedicated Prada liner video. But you can see that Wood is just this creamy, dark brown matte that dries or sets pretty quickly. So make sure you move well. Mahogany is this burgundy, like red wine metallic. Ooh, and you can see how easy they are to maneuver on the lash line. I like to do wings mostly because that's just my preferred way to wear these liners. Ember by far is just my favorite. It's like this charcoal, almost like an olive charcoal metallic, the same formula as Mahogany. Ooh, even though I applied it as a liner, I can imagine how outrageous it will be just smoked out, right? To have like that hazy effect. And then Glycine, I thought would be fun to have like the pastel lilac. I don't think as creamy as its matte, like neutral counterparts. You can see there's like a little bit of, I want to say chalkiness to it because I think that's just the nature of pastel shades, even in pencil form. But I think it's nice to apply on the inner corner or maybe add a little graphic liner here and there. Product Reveal foundation, one of my most favorites. I do like Givenchy more, but this one is great. MN60 neutral. Why I like the Givenchy, because that's a little more golden neutral, but the finish on the skin is stupid. And these palettes, as of now, these sold out so fast when they became available, like I think beginning of the month. And if you don't know, these palettes are refillable. I don't think the Halo Dimension line, the Neuro line, is sold as refills. You might have to get the entire compact, but the individual color ones like Portrait, Pulse, and all of them, you can buy as refills. The Resetting Balancing Powder, so good. Just a creamy, lightweight balm to powder formula that just virtually disappears and adds like that soft focus blurring effect on the skin. Stop it right now. And the Prada Scope mascara. I have this mascara on, and to this day, never have I tried an extraordinary mascara like the Prada Scope. I'm not even kidding. It's one of those things where I look forward to applying my mascara because I just can't get over how well this formula just gives me volume, but also gives me like that lush type of a look to the lashes that I adore, where they don't look spidery, they just look thick, and that's what I love. That's what I love, and probably because of the brush's construction. But I have an entire video dedicated to Productscope. If you want to check out close-ups, 1 coat, 2 coat, 3 coats, have a ball over there. And if you're wondering, I do have Primula here on my eyes, and I have Wood as liner. Valentino, this Spike lipstick, stop it right now. In 77A, you guys were saying how this was one of the most beautiful lip shades you have ever seen on me, and I can't agree more. This is just like a toasted terracotta, perfect for summer or autumn or now. On its own, just mascara, done. And with the blushes, oh, Roman Sky is this beautiful pearl peach, but I recently purchased Sweet Rebel. Sweet Rebel, just the silkiness and the color of this blush, look at that. That pearl finish looks smooth on the skin. It doesn't look glittery or patchy, and it just has this glow after you blend it out, and effortless, where you could throw it on solo and that's it. That's all you need. Maybe some Productscope. And my apologies for not explaining about the spiky matte lipstick from Valentino. The component in of itself, seductive, but the actual formula, although matte, it is incredibly smooth on the application. It doesn't feel hard on the lip, and because of the smaller bullet, it's easier to maneuver in and around your lip, especially because it's a matte formula, which is more pigmented than like a satinory, balmy type of hybrid texture. It just makes it ultra easy. Now, I don't know if Sephora sells just the refills, but you could just buy the refills if you wanted to save on the packaging, FYI. YSL, we have arrived. Okay, buy everything. Let me just start off with this blush, okay? Took the makeup world by storm when it first released. Everyone was gunning for these, and I am included in that onslaught. I have Peachy Nude, Baby Doll, and Nude Lavalier. I think I have a video demonstrating Nude Lavalier, but my favorite has to be Peachy Nude, because although it's matte, it's just incredibly smooth, blurring effect on the skin, and outrageous in the color delivery. And yes, I did see that Sephora carries Rose Haze. I would like for them to also carry, what was the other one I had on my radar? It was in that same like soft color category that I might just buy. I might just have to get Rose Haze anyway. But I have to mention the liquid blushes. I have it on today under the Givenchy that I applied mid-video in Nude Lavalier and the Peachy Nude shade. One of the best performing liquid blushes, I think. Okay, I like it better than the Hourglass, but that doesn't mean the Hourglass is bad. I just say that because it's creamier and definitely has a stronger delivery of color, all without looking messy. Because you know how where a liquid blush is too pigmented, and like when you start to pounce, it just gets everywhere, and then you have to like pounce away so it could not look clownish. Not this formula. It just works its way around your cheeks effortlessly and leaves behind the perfect serving of color. And I applied this on top of the Dior bronzer, so it didn't disrupt the powder. It didn't make it appear splotchy or uneven. It just kind of fell into place, and it doesn't smell. You know, I just realized I lied. Dolce & Gabbana does not have a scent, nor does the YSL powder products that I have. I don't know about their liquid products, so you have to let me know down below. But their blushes don't have fragrance. Their liquid blushes don't have fragrance. It just smells like product, but it doesn't smell like perfume. And the bronzer, I already swatched it earlier when I compared it to the Dior. But this bronzer is smooth, diffusing, soft focus, and I love the color. It's almost like leaning towards a mustardy type of a caramel brown, and it kind of matches my Dolce & Gabbana bronzer that I bought recently, which many of you had recommended when showing Playful Rosewood. I think in like my Luxe haul, you were like, you gotta get the bronzer, and oh my goodness, did I ran over to that Nordstrom counter so fast, especially because they were running their beauty sale event, please. But back to the YSL. Okay, if you're my complexion and you're bouncing between number 3 and number 4, this is number 4. I would get number 4 because I like that slightly more mustardy leaning hue on the complexion with bronzer. I think it's a unique shade, especially when you pair it, like for instance, peachy nude or something on the warmer end of the spectrum. And of course, these gosh darn eye quads. The first time I tried the YSL eye quads, I was floored by how magnificent this formula is. It's soft. It's not going to be like your Indie Duochrome or even your Natasha Denona, some Pat McGrath, right? These sparkly shades are a lot more subdued. They're drier, which will cause them to be more of like an overlay shade. And I would recommend that you have a little bit of adherence, or maybe you apply them wet. Just, again, straightforward, effortless, and the color edits are outrageous. They are simply perfect. No matter how you combine the shades, they all look soft and just easygoing. And again, it doesn't take much bandwidth. My personal favorite is 710 with the plum, or I guess you would consider this an eggplant with the caramel beige and the warmer taupe. Like, stop it right now. And I have like 6 of them. Sephora unfortunately does not have all the colorways, but I might get, I'm thinking about, I don't know if Sephora has Spontini Lilies. I don't know what it's called, something like that. Or Medina Glow. I'm thinking about Medina Glow because that color edit is, I think, going to be perfect for summer or anytime. Really, I could validate any purchase when it comes to seasons. And I think that's it. Well, I'm just gonna have to make that the end because I'm running out of space on my SD card. All that to say, those are my recommendations and recommendations to not buy for the upcoming Sephora Spring Savings event. And what I'll do is leave a pinned comment of products that I'm thinking about purchasing, and would love to know what you think down below. And again, if you want to see more of these products in action, I'll make sure to create a playlist in order for you to watch the different demos and the swatches and whatnot, so you can get a better idea of how these products perform. And if you made it this far, make sure you click that thumbs up, as it does help the algorithm recommend more of my videos to you. Also consider subscribing and click that notification bell, so who knows, if I upload something new, you would know about it right away. And like I had said before, you could check out my product scope video, or you could check out my Natasha Denona Bloom eyeshadow palette for more looks. I will see you in those videos, down in the comments for this video, and on here again next time.